Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to a beautiful fucking Friday evening here on the Cantina Show podcast. How are y'all doing? I hope you had a lovely fucking week, as I always say. I'm back here again with Cody, going over some Marvel stuff. What's up, dude?
What up? What up?
Not much, man. I am really excited about this goddamn episode to talk about it.
Yeah, I am too. I am too.
Uh, but as always, we will first start out with all the little fun tidbits here. As always, I want to thank everyone for continuing on listening. Thank everyone for entering in the contests that we've done. I know I've talked about this a little bit before. I just want to obviously show our appreciation before we get into the information here. Everyone that's still in the Discord, looking up the information we have, checking out Facebook, Twitter, liking and sharing. All that stuff, especially following the links onto YouTube for the videos. The most recent ones we've been doing that. There's been some kind of complications with Facebook we're figuring out. If you were curious about that, just to kind of iron that out. But yeah, they've been up on YouTube. So definitely, if you missed any videos, check out those links. And yeah, we are going to get into some episode 4, Falcon and Winter Soldier, here, which honestly, probably just to kind of give it a one word, this is probably the grittiest episode I've ever seen in Marvel of anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, so, like I always do, what is your first reactions, Cody, on this 4th episode?
Um, it's a really good show. They did a really good job of rounding out things that we didn't necessarily need to know, but are like when I realized like what they were telling us, I was like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome. Um, the first example is like they start off the episode showing you like Wakandians breaking Bucky from the code and him not being trapped anymore and realizing that he can fight it. And I was like, wow, that, like, because they never really touched on that. He just kind of, I'm not trapped anymore. You know what I mean? And so that was awesome.
And powerful. It was very
It
powerful.
was having all those scenes playing like transparently through, like you could see him, but you could see like what he was fighting against and thinking about. That was just a brilliant scene. And this episode was well shot, well directed. I don't know who directed it, but there were some pretty amazing shots in this episode.
Look it up.
Including like the final shot of this episode was like, whew, that was it was a good shot.
Yeah.
As far as like the fighting and action, it was on another level this episode. The fighting and the choreography with the weapons and everything. This episode honestly to me is by far the best one that we've seen. In my opinion. Just in my opinion.
Yeah, I will say, because I know we talked about how I mean, I totally agree with you. I know we talked about last episode how we were like, that was amazing because of all the cool locations they had, the fact that they had one of the writers from John Wick who was involved, which,
Yeah.
you could kind of get the whole motif of it, which we talked about. And I thought that was like pinnacle, like, okay, now we're getting into some good shit. And then this was a whole nother level.
Yeah, I agree. And it started off the rip.
Yeah,
So
there's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what is your what is your feeling on how they played out U.S. agent in this episode? Because
Well, now
now,
that
I
I
mean,
know,
now I will say his now I'll say his name. I know every episode I'm like, yeah, just wait. But obviously it paid off. But how'd you feel how that storyline built?
well, for me, I'm looking at his character from obviously it is his fictional character of being a U.S. military person. He's gone to war. He's got 3 Medal
Yeah.
of Honors, the whole bit, all that shit. He's seen some horrible stuff. He's there with his buddy that he served with and done all this crazy shit with and survived. So I'm looking at his character from a comic book perspective as well as someone who also served. So I'm like trying to like get in his psyche to
Mm-hmm.
see if they're actually developing his character that way and. They're doing a phenomenal job with that because like through this episode, and I know we're going to break it down piece by piece. They do a phenomenal job of showing him slowly cracking, breaking, trying to be, the new Captain America. The weight of all of this is on his shoulders, all this stuff. He survived all this crazy shit. Now he's like fighting foes and regular people that he can't even handle. You see him like when and I said, well, we'll get into it. I'm kind of like broad spectring here. When he gets the serum, he's like asking questions. You could tell he's like struggling with it. Like he's really going through. I mean, the character development with just him alone in this episode was astounding.
It's phenomenal.
he went through so many phases, and it didn't feel crunched in. It didn't feel that it was like watered down so they could just get it all out quick. Like, I don't know how the fuck they were able to do it so flawlessly
Yeah, it was
to
fluid.
where, to where at the very end, which we'll talk about what happens, it's just like straight icing on the cake gut punch. You're just like, God damn. Like,
Yeah, it all happens quick, and it all makes sense.
yeah.
And I know you kind of mentioned this to me before. I mean, they kind of make you feel for him right before he breaks. And that's
Yeah.
something Disney always does very well, especially in the Marvel universe. I mean, when you start to reason with quote unquote villains or people who are at that breaking point, and you can see I mean, they do it with the flagship girl or whatever, the
Oh, the
freedom fighter or whatever.
flag smasher. Yeah.
Yeah, flag smasher. I mean, they make a connection between her and Sam. They're not that different. I mean, you start to see like, okay, yeah, I mean, if she was doing this without killing people, like she's 100% right. I mean, she's got a point. And I loved it. I don't know if people are going to catch it, but when Sam and Bucky are talking and Sam's like, maybe it wasn't so bad when, the 5 years we were gone, and it's like the first time you're seeing like, okay, maybe there was a point to Thanos's thinking. Like all these people that were homeless had houses, there was plenty of food for everybody, like, and now they're not. You're kind of seeing that unfold, and even Sam's starting to question it, which was very, very underlying thing. But I thought it was like when he said that, I was like, oh, all right, they're already starting like heroes second guessing it.
And I honestly didn't think of the Thanos part of that, which is a good catch on your part. That's a great, great fucking connection to that.
Yeah,
Where it's like, because even when the whole Thanos thing happened, I was like, he's not technically completely wrong. It's
yeah,
obviously it's horrible what's going to happen to get to that point, but his idea of what he's trying to do or trying to achieve is not wrong. It's just how he's going about it. And I always said
correct.
that from those movies. And like you said with that, you're seeing all this stuff. I was talking. I know I was talking to you and Nick about this before the show. I didn't. I'm loving how they're making me not know if I love or hate every single character. Like I like feel for the flag smashers, then I'm like, okay, now they're bad. But then something else happens, and I'm like, all right, I get where they're coming from. Like when you're
Yeah,
talking about just now about them living in that one world, they like you said, they go into more detail about it. How they were like it was open borders. It was just everyone on the planet working together and just living. And
mm-hmm.
it was just peace because everyone knew that they just had to come together, and then that was it. And then what do they say? When he was like, "You can't do this," and the leader of the Flag Smashers is like, "Well, everyone just came back and they just kicked us out of the street, just reclaimed everything that they had, didn't give a shit, and they just kicked us to the curb." I can see why she's pissed.
Yeah,
And those are those moments where I'm like, I kind of sided with them, and then they
yeah,
do some shit. And I'm like, all right, well now you're fucking it up. So
yeah,
all these characters, and then you've got Captain America, Walker. You feel for him, but then he like does some shit, and you're like, all right, come on, man, like. I'm on your side, and you're making me like hate how you're doing it, but you can see how he's struggling with all his past, and Sam and Bucky. I mean, there's so much emotion per character in this show.
yeah,
It's I don't even know where to begin.
yeah.
I mean, it's just so well done.
Which I also want to point out another scene that probably won't get any hype for bigger YouTubers or anything who do this, but when Zemo is asking Sam if you had the opportunity, hypothetically, to get the serum, would you? And he immediately says no. And I thought it was interesting. They have Walker ask the same question to his partner, and he says, "Hell yeah!" Like who wouldn't? And I was like, that's very defining because that is the reason Sam is the Falcon, is because Rogers knew who he was as a person, knew he was a great stand-up guy, was going to do the right thing no matter what, even if it was at the detriment of himself.
Yep.
So it goes back to like in the earlier episode when Bucky was like, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me. So with that answer, I was like, man, that's kind of like them saying like Rogers was not wrong. Like Sam really is doing what he thinks is the right thing to do. It's just something I caught that I pay attention to little shit like that all the time.
No, that's a great catch because I didn't think about the comparison about how I knew they both obviously asked each other because you see it, but I didn't connect the two as the
Yeah.
differences.
Yeah, they make another connection, which is big. I'm gonna do that at the end though. but Zemo in this episode is great too, because I was watching it with Kim, obviously, and like when he was trying to shoot her, the flag smasher, Kim was like, "Oh shit!" Like he's just gonna fucking kill her.
That's what I
They
thought.
need to stop this guy. He's what I think she said. He's pure evil. And I was like, no, he's not. And because I love Zemo personally. I know you know this, but
Oh, yeah.
and I explained to her they had this scene like where he realized the serum was on the ground and he just smashed it. He didn't take. I was like, if he was pure evil, he would have picked those up and taken them for himself. But he
He was
wasn't.
going to.
He has his motivation, and that's it. He's done with the fight when his motivation is, I want to get. There should be no super soldiers on the planet, and you see him start to think when Sam says, "What does that mean about Bucky?" And then Bucky walks in that scene, and you see Zemo just kind of like think like, "Shit, like, this is a guy I've started to trust, but he is a super soldier." I'm
Mhm.
interested to see how that plays out because I think Zemo's thinking about that. Like, will he try to kill Bucky, or will he just, think he should be the only one left? He's the closest thing to Steve, because Bucky brings up Steve in the earlier arguments about you can have the super serum and not be evil, or turn into what does he call it?
Supremacist.
Supremacist, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Bucky says Steve never did, and he says, "Oh, but there's never been another Rogers, has there?" So maybe Zemo will be deciding on if Bucky can be that other Rogers, which is I think that's where we're finally going. I thought for sure that they were gonna make Sam Captain America. I honestly believe that by the end of this, Bucky will be.
You think they're gonna go Bucky
I
instead?
think they're gonna go Bucky. I'll tell you why off air, but
Okay.
maybe I'll bring it up next episode. Maybe see another episode, and I just got that vibe from this episode, just from the little conversations.
Yeah, it would make sense too, because honestly, they already went through the whole arc of Sam giving up the shield and going through that struggle and deciding and all that stuff. And you think that if he really thought that he could give it to somebody else, like close in the group, that he would do it, and he
Yeah,
probably thought that. Like, they obviously didn't go that route, but I'm assuming that's what went through his head. So I could see it going to Bucky, because he would be like, "Look, I gave it up. They fucked with it, so now I'm going to give it back and put it in hands that I know is going to be
yeah,
kept where it needs to be, and it's not gonna." Because when he handed it off, he thought it was done and in a museum, and then it got given to a new Captain America. So if he gives it to Bucky, it stays with Bucky, and Bucky ain't gonna let that go. Even if
yeah.
he doesn't use it, he's gonna keep it. So it would make sense.
I just envision this scene in my head, like where Sam takes the shield and acts like he's going to be Captain America, and works with the shield, and then decides like, this isn't what I want. I don't want to become this, and he offers it to Sam, and like, Rogers was right about me, and to give me the responsibility of the shield, I made the wrong decision by giving it to the wrong person. And he gives it to Sam, and he's like, I don't know why I have this scene like in my head. Like he's like,
Sounds
I
good.
I fought beside Steve with this shield, and the only other person I want to fight beside with this shield is you.
Hmm.
I just have that scene in my head. I can see it going that way. But anyways, it's stupid.
No,
That's just stupid me.
it's not stupid, because I'm visualizing it as you're explaining it, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, it wouldn't be wrong if they did that. It would make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I just love the whole this shield is such a big part of this entire show.
Mm-hmm.
And it really didn't hit me until today, which obviously we will hit at the end because of obvious reasons. But it's everything has literally been revolving around one fucking piece of armor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously you've got all these characters and stuff, but this shield is just so huge, what it represents, who has it, like what happens when someone else has it. And it's crazy that the shield's like a character within its fucking self.
Yeah. It
I
really
mean, that's what
is.
they're making me feel like in the show. Like the shield is actually a character, and like I care about the damn thing.
Yeah. It is the symbol that Steve made it, which, yeah, I'll bring that up at the end, but whenever we get into it. But I did like that. I'm not sure. I forget what they call themselves, but the Wakanda girls.
Oh, the Dora Milaje.
Yes, the Milaje. The
Yeah.
Malaysia when they come in and kick everyone's fucking ass, which was awesome scene. That scene was fucking phenomenal. Like through and through phenomenal. When
So good.
she took Bucky's arm off, I was like, oh shit. What are you gonna do?
And she almost did it. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, did you ever see Kill Bill 2?
Yeah.
When she does like the pop, 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 and then it's like you got 5
Oh,
steps before you're
yeah.
dead. When she started doing that, I was like, oh my God, is she doing some like heart stopping shit? Like, is she gonna like lock Bucky up? And then the arm fell. I was like, whew, okay. It's like,
Yeah,
yes.
that scene was phenomenal. And then the one was gonna take the shield and they were like, just leave it.
Oh, the way she kicked that up.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me back to when Rogers took the hammer, you
Yeah.
know, when he grabbed it, when she just kicked it up and had it on her arm, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Damn
Like,
girl.
I was like, girl, stop playing. Do it again.
Also I did like obviously Walker ends up taking the serum. We find that out the final battle. I did like, and I don't know, we haven't seen him do it yet. I know that for sure. I think I've heard one YouTube person bring it up, but he did it in this episode for the first time. People were getting upset like that he knew how to use the shield or whatever, like throwing it and catching it and stuff, which you can learn. But he always did it linear. Like he always threw it straight and it came back straight. You know, Rogers would throw it and knock like 5 guys out and it would come back to him. There was creativity when Rogers did it. And when him and Sam got ambushed by those two, he threw it off the back wall into the person that was coming at Sam and allowing Sam to get the upper edge on that person and then caught it. And I was like, man, that's the first time we've seen him get creative with throwing the shield. And of course, like he loses his shit right after that. But I was like, damn, that was sweet. Like it's the first time we've seen him actually, like he's getting better with it, which might not be a good thing coming up here.
Well, I don't think so, but yeah, I mean, he's starting to. Obviously, this kid's character is not going to be like Captain America with obviously just what happened, but he's like growing into that like motif, you know, figuring it out, like you said.
He's getting better with it.
And I did notice the one thing that when I was rewatching a couple scenes after I watched the full thing, they don't tell you when he took the serum, and I like how they kind of nodded to it, right? Like the 2 nods that they gave to it. One when he whips that shield so hard and it just like embeds itself in the wall. That was when I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Like that was such a beautiful way of doing it to like kind of give you that. And then when he bent the pole, that's when it like cemented in. And even the guy, he was like, oh shit.
All right.
Like,
You want to know when I knew?
what?
When he put the gun away.
That's true. Yeah,
because
because when
he
he
went
went
with the gun, and then his partner went up there and he put the gun away to go in. I was like, he took it.
yeah, and he was hiding it from his partner that because otherwise he'd be like, why don't you have your pistol?
Yeah.
It's good. That's good.
Sorry, I pay attention to little things.
No, I do too, but I have to watch them like 2 or 3 times to catch all that shit. First time is watching it for the entertainment value while trying to pick up stuff, and then I usually have to go back, which is why I watch other people like review it and stuff.
I'm a
hear,
critic,
like,
bro. I'm a critic. You got to get me on the first try.
Yeah, I know you're a critic.
I really should. I should have pursued that as a career, being a critic, but
you could do it online right now. You could do we could make like a Cantina Corner critic thing where you can
this is bullshit.
just start throwing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, man. They've got the normal reviewer section right below the critics. You can start building some traction.
We'll start off with Godzilla vs Kong. Just kidding. Terrible. Anyways, yeah, when he goes crazy and his partner dies and he fucking kills that guy, that scene is fucking incredible. That ending shot with the blood on the shield. Oh my god.
It was such a perfect shot. And what surprised me, and not only because it's Disney's done some like dark things with PG-13 rated stuff, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, all those different things that they've kind of touched on. But when he bashed him and then you see his hand fall, the amount of blood that was there for Disney, and
there
even
was
Marvel
blood on his fucking neck, bro.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And then when they showed the shield, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, they did not hold back, and it was such a beautiful shot. Like because from a cinematic point of view, the way that they had it angled from the bottom up to show him as like this like monster, basically from the bottom up, and then the way it just shows that shield with the blood on the bottom, showing that it's basically like blood on America. Like we've spilled blood, it's tarnished. It was so well done, so well done. I thought they were honestly going to cut it when he was just looking around, and they were just going to cut it to leave that tension. And then when they did that last shot, I'm like,
oh, it was too good to leave out. I'm so glad we got that shot. That shot was awesome.
Yeah, it was, and I think I know the big other connection you're gonna make that involves that specific scene,
Well, there's two.
because I know of one, but I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of.
Well, the obvious one is Civil War
What do you mean?
when Cap like so. Let's get into the other one because that one's really good. If you don't know that one, I'm gonna break that
I
one
probably
down.
do. I'm just not thinking off the top of my head.
Right. Okay. So the one is obviously it was just like Black Panther. That's not what you're thinking of either, is it?
No.
Okay. So in Black Panther movie, when he finally chases what's his nuts down,
Oh, Bucky.
Andy Serkis's character.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about
I
now.
forget his damn name. But he,
Yeah, I
he
don't
tracks
remember.
him down in the car chase.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally pulled out the claws and he's about to kill him. And all those people surround him with their phones out. And he doesn't kill him. The same thing that happened here. You saw all the crowd coming before he started killing. The crowd formed. So that shows like he wasn't prepared to be a hero and make the right conscious move there. Even though earlier in the episode, his partner said, you always make the right decisions in battle, which this episode, every time he was under duress, he made the absolute wrong decision.
Yeah.
But the other connection is the way they have him swinging the shield down like that on his chest. It's the same thing in Civil War when him and Tony are fighting and he gets Tony pinned and Cap's literally hits him a few times on his chest and then digs it just enough into his suit to deactivate the suit, but he doesn't kill him. He holds himself back and decides, and that's when, if I'm not mistaken, Cap leaves the shield with Tony because he decides he doesn't need that anymore and he becomes Nomad for the rest of the series, you know?
Yeah.
And he never has the shield again. And this guy killed him.
Repeatedly.
Yes. So he's at the point where it was just it was like the same motion he was making on his chest that Rogers was hammering Tony with, but Rogers again had the wherewithal to stop, leave the shield. I don't need that symbol. I don't need that, stuff in my life making me make decisions I don't want to make. I can go off and be my own person. But this guy did not make that decision, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's a great connection with those. I had not a clue. Reason
All right, so
why
what
I
was
know
yours? I'm curious now.
mine's not some more of a connection. It's a connection within the episode itself.
Okay.
So the guy that he killed, which I didn't realize until after I watched a couple other people watch it, and then it like dawned on me.
Oh yeah, the guy
Yeah,
that
the guy
liked
looked up.
Captain. Yeah, looked
Yeah,
up.
he
to
like
him.
looked up to Captain America, all this stuff. Obviously, it was Rogers and not John Walker. And then he just gets fucking mercilessly murdered by him.
Yeah,
And I just thought that was like ironic, and it was just.
it is ironic, and his little girlfriend had to watch it because she was in the crowd, and I wonder if that conversation will come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have a love-hate relationship with her character.
how can you
so
not?
much. I know. It's just
she's playing it well. I don't know who she is, but she's playing it well.
oh, she's done a phenomenal job. And like I was it takes a lot for me to actually get emotionally invested in a show, whether it's anger, happiness, sadness, whatever. Like it takes a lot. And usually superhero movies do a good job, but it's more of like the action-packed crazy stuff, not like the actual character development
Yeah.
parts. And like when he was talking, when Falcon was talking with her and actually having that moment, like you said, where they were relating with each other and all that stuff, and you just see John Walker stewing, like wanting to go in there, and I'm just like, man, it's gonna fuck it up. This is gonna
Yep.
fuck it up, all this stuff. And then when he busts in there and just like, "God, you're under arrest," I was literally screaming at my TV. Like I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "You egotistical piece of shit! Like, just stay
Yep.
away." He wants control because he hates the fact that he doesn't have control, and he's in the shadow of these guys, which they
Yep.
don't even care that he's doing what he's doing. They
Nope.
just were like, just calm down. He just can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets me emotionally enraged. Like watching him do what he does, I'm just like, God, you fucking moron! Like, it takes a lot for me to get that mad. And
Yeah.
oh God, I'm really interested to see because we haven't even gotten into Power Broker yet. I mean,
Well,
we haven't even gotten into like what could be the main villain of the show. You know, now that we're seeing what's happening with the U.S. agent, if you're aware, shit, if they're doing this with Captain America's character, the new Captain America, what the fuck are they going to do with Power Broker? Like, who's this guy going to be? Like, how gritty is that going to be? I mean, is this going to be like a triangle fight where you've got Captain going nuts, and then you've got the Avengers trying to do stuff, and then you've got Power Broker here? Is this going to be a big collision?
yeah.
Like I'm curious.
All right. I think we need to do something. New thing we're gonna do.
Okay.
Let's make a bold prediction for next episode.
Okay, because I know the prediction I made last time was that they were going to focus on these two things, which is just a no-brainer in general, and I'm happy they actually did. But what are you thinking?
All right, my bold prediction is we find out who Power Broker is.
Next
And
episode?
yes, and my bold prediction isn't that, because that could be an obvious thing, right?
Yeah, but who it is?
Who it is.
Yeah.
I think it's Carter.
You think it's Sharon?
I think it's Carter. Why won't she leave that area, but she's willing to help? She wants
And
to
how
keep an
did-
eye on the situation, but not go after her. She's hoping Sam can take care of it for her.
Not to mention, how the fuck if she's off the grid and doing all this like secret shit, even though she's like kind of like a black, painting arms dealer, whatever you want to call it. Well, how the fuck because I was asking myself, how does she have access to satellites?
Mm-hmm. That
I
was
was
my
like,
key.
that-
When she's like, I think I
Yeah.
have access to 2 satellites. I was like, okay, so maybe you still have your agency clearance, and maybe you just are the power broker and you have access to another one.
Yeah, because I didn't connect it with Power Broker, but I was like, how the fuck? And it kind of irritated me a little bit. I thought it was just doing that for show. And then
Yeah.
I started doing on it, and I'm like, there's something up with that. And also when she specifically said, because she was the one that was there when the doctor had died, when they were interrogating him about the serum, she was the one there. And I'm like, would the power broker know that that guy's dead by now? Because it's only been what, a couple days, 2 days, maybe?
He knew immediately. He texted them that you have the last of my serum, remember? That's why they blew up the place.
Okay. I didn't remember that specifically, because when she specifically stated like now that the serum and this is gone, like Madripoor is going to get crazy, and it's like, but how do you know that? Like,
Yeah.
that's a very specific statement, and she's just walking around in the street like it's nothing, but she says it's getting dangerous, and I'm like, how are you
Yeah.
walking out in the open with all these people, but it's so dangerous now?
I'm telling you right now, she's the power broker. That's
It's
my bold
interesting.
prediction.
And she didn't bitch too much about not getting her record wiped. When he's like, I already know I owe you one. Can you do this? And she didn't. I thought she was going to be like, no, fuck you. Like, I need more than that if you're going to ask me for another favor. And she was just cool and calm about it. And I'm like, that was weird,
Mm-hmm.
because she fought doing that with him very heavily in the beginning.
And she interrupted that meeting saying, "Oh, Walker found them," because she
Mhm.
didn't know that he was meeting with her. But
I'm not even going to make a bold prediction. I'm actually just going to agree with you, because it makes the most sense to me, because I would have to like really think hard of someone and pull someone out of my ass, because that's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, seriously.
that's my bold prediction.
That could be a good twist. That could be a very good twist, because I know that they're going to be doing something heavy with the Power Broker next episode, because of the text message that he was sending them after they got the serum destroyed.
Yeah.
And that guy was like, we can't fight 2 fights right now. We can't have 2 wars and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, that one singular scene of him texting them is foreshadowing him next episode,
Mm-hmm.
because we've already gotten a mix of both. Then we got last episode, not this one, but the last episode, we got more of the Falcon and Bucky shit, and then this one they flipped it back over where we get more Flag Smashers and goddamn Captain America, because he was barely in the last episode.
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. Well, yes, now. So yeah, I think it's going to be very Madripoor Power Broker heavy. I think you're going to see them coming after the Flag Smashers and really kind of pinning them in, because she's on the run from what the fuck just happened, and she's
Mhm.
probably going to go into a hidey hole. But I have a feeling that her followers are going to start turning on her, because they were foreshadowing it a little bit in this episode. Especially when they were watching that news scene of that explosion that she did,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't know about, and you could see them all looking around at her, and I'm like, I don't think that's a look of like, oh, are we safe? It's more of like a,
What the
is this
fuck?
right?
Yeah.
Like, is this right? Like, are we really behind the right person here and all this stuff? And I think there's going to be some mutiny shit going on, especially after that guy just got killed.
Yeah. Also, just quick question. They kept showing those posters to rebuild respect. I forget what the last
The
one.
GRC companies
Yeah,
posters. Yeah.
that guy on the poster, I'm almost positive is the guy who, when they were at the airport and that guy like sacrificed himself so the plane could take off. I'm almost positive that was that guy, and they just fucking just annihilated that one dude who had the super serum with like, I don't even know what they
Oh
had,
yeah.
carbines and shit, and they were just fucking lighting his ass up.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
almost
Yeah.
positive that was that guy.
The one who shot him.
Well, no, his fucking crew shot him, but he gets out of the one SUV and is standing there watching the plane take off.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like him and his
I'm
gang.
pretty
like
sure
that.
that guy is the guy on the poster. I'm not 100% sure. That's something like I kind of like, I was like thinking about it. I was like, I don't know for sure. I never really got a really good angle at it. That's something I'll have to go back and watch, but that could be something.
Yeah, I mean it could. Or I mean, why else would they focus on someone getting out and standing up,
Yeah.
and then like hyperfixate on them?
Yeah. And then
Because
those
that.
posters were fucking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, they were. And the GRC. I think I don't know if we're actually. I would hope. I just did 3 different, like, I think, I hope, I don't know. Uh, thinking faster than I can fucking talk. Um, I would like them to flesh out a little bit of the GRC because they've been
Yeah.
talking about them a lot. Especially like when he went in there and was like, "Oh, I can help you," and he was like, "Yeah, well, the GRC said they can help us, and they said they would send us teachers." That was 6 months ago. They're starting to talk more about the GRC as well,
Yeah.
and specifically in certain situations. And I have a feeling we will get some GRC content in this, even if it's a little bit. And I would
Maybe
like
they're
to
the
see
new
it.
Hydra.
It's possible. I mean, what is it?
Propaganda posters. It was everywhere.
What I forgot what the GRC. It was like Global Reconciliation
Rebuild
something.
respect. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, it's like a weird acronym for what they have for the GRC, but yeah, I feel that there's obviously some evil intent behind them,
Mm-hmm.
100%. And or maybe the power broker has some type of hold on the GRC.
Maybe he is the power broker.
That too.
Could be.
That too.
Could be. Never know. Till we
I don't know.
know, we don't know.
All I could say is the espionage, the spy feel, and all this like behind closed doors and figuring out stuff like is so cool. Like what Zemo did as like a spy move when those two are running around asking all these people like, "Do you know who this is? Do you know who this is?" And they're getting shut out,
Yeah.
and he just brings Turkish delight.
Yep.
And I love how they did it because he brought out that cabinet. He's like irresistible, and then it's like okay, he likes Turkish delight, whatever. But then when he goes to the kids, he puts it down. He's like irresistible, and I was like, this is like motherfucker. Like he's
Yep.
just so smooth.
He's cerebral. He's thinking about everything ahead of time.
Yeah,
I love when they're all fighting and he's just standing there and they just show him drinking and then he's like, "I'm gonna get out of here."
He just goes and just shuts the door calmly.
Yeah.
He's such an interesting character.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm gonna have to go back and I don't remember him much from Winter Soldier, or not Winter Soldier, Civil War. Um, but I want to go back and watch him and compare him to what it is now because I absolutely love his character. Like I know you love him altogether, but
Yeah.
this has really made me love him as a character.
Yep.
And I hope he doesn't go away. Like I thought it was funny too how Bucky got them 8 hours still with him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, thank you for having my back. I really appreciate it."
Yeah, that
So
was
good. But yeah, this Walker stuff is gonna get interesting. I've watched a lot of people's reactions, and I watched one dude almost cry when the shield was like shown with blood.
Wow.
Like he literally was like, he's like, that thing stands for something. He's like, I don't like the way it looks. He's like, I hate that there's blood on it. Like you could see how emotional he was watching that happen because it was like everything that it's like if you see someone burning the American flag, it's just like you're just shitting on everything that stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this guy really cares, and it just goes to show how much it hits.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I, there's going to be a lot of crazy shit happening from now on. I
Yeah.
thought that last one was going to pick up. This one's really going to throw us into some nuts stuff. Um, and this is really making me hyped for the Loki show. I know we're talking Falcon and Winter Soldier here, but because the Loki trailer just dropped, after watching this and what they're able to do with this in Disney and how cool Loki looks, I'm just like, this is going
Yeah.
to keep getting better and better.
Loki's gonna be incredible.
It will be. It's gonna be I was like excited for it, and then after the second trailer, I was like, I'm full in,
Yeah.
full fucking in. But yeah, I don't know really any other big points on this that we could really flesh out, because I mean, you hit a lot of them. Actually, all the huge connections. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm just kidding.
No, it is what you do. Don't even kid about it. That's exactly what you do. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully we keep getting even better and better, because literally every episode is up the ante and gotten even better since the last one. Um, Let us know in the comments. I'm curious because of what we've been talking about with like this whole love and hate relationship with all these characters. Like, who has been the hardest for you to get behind, or anything like that? Like, give us your theories on that. I'm really interested to hear
Yeah.
that, because it seems like everyone that I've watched online react to this is just going through like a whole ballad of emotions when they do this, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think for that, and if there's anything we missed, let us know. But I think Cody pretty much airtight locked that in. I'd be surprised if someone can come up with something, so it's a fucking challenge for all of you. Um, yeah, so I think that'll wrap it up for episode 4. Episode 5 going to come out on this coming Friday, a week from today. I know you guys. What like what do what's going on in the baseball world? Anything you guys got coming up with baseball? I know you and Nick. Are you doing one this Wednesday, or like what's up with baseball?
We will be doing one Wednesday. I'm also gonna post one probably tonight. We just recorded it today. I'll
Okay.
probably just post it tonight. And then we might be changing up our format a little bit. I might record a little video to explain what the cantina might be turning into. So I know you don't even know. We haven't even had to talk with you yet. So
All over the place. I've been so busy, so
yeah.
I feel horrible that I've been out of the loop.
Yeah, just keep an eye out. We're gonna be pumping out content 7 days a week with this new format. So hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And he'll get me in the loop on this, and I'm sure I'm gonna love every second of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's gonna do it here for Marvel fucking Friday. I hope you had an awesome week. Have a wonderful weekend. And as always, if there's anything that you want to comment on this, please do check out the YouTube page. This is obviously going to go on YouTube for sure. So if you're not subscribed to that, please do. That way you can get the alerts on there. Hit the notification bell. Hit the notifications on there as well. Because if you hit the bell, it's not going to tell you. You have to hit all notifications if you want everything. It's very specific what YouTube changed that a while ago. So you have to do that if you want to be notified. But yeah, otherwise just make sure you follow us on the days that are going to be posted. And yeah, that'll do it. I hope you have a great week.
Yeah.
Take care.
Peace.